Man, the haters feeling extra spicy today. So here we go, cucks. I heard that Roman Reigns finally got a big-time movie role. Right? There's some movie where Jason Momoa is going to be there, and I think the task at hand is that the character of Jason Momoa is going to have something shoved up his ass, right? And instead of having Jason Momoa take it up the ass, they decided to hire Roman Reigns as the extra stunt ass, right? You know, people have stunt doubles. Well, Jason Momoa needed an ass double so the things don't enter his ass. So that's where Roman Reigns came in. That's going to be the extent of his Hollywood career, insiders tell me. Now, with that being said, cucks, this video is about Roman Reigns, right? Roman Reigns, in my personal opinion, is being held back at this point, right? Now, hopefully, he's making a boatload of money. I mean, I'm sure he's eating good, you know? I'm sure he's doing fine. But I really hope he's making multiple $1 million a year because, quite frankly, jokes aside, right? Jokes aside about being an ass double, jokes aside, it's like Roman Reigns, if he has aspirations to be an actor, well, now would be the time to get started because he's almost 40. You dig? He's almost 40 and he's just getting started at 40, you know? So with that being said, it's like, whatever, man, you know? He's 40, he wants to be an actor. I don't think 40 is too old to be an actor. I actually think it's like a good time to be an actor. A lot of people, I feel like, become actors in their 40s, you know, and have some prominence, especially the actors that we still see around, right? Like, yeah, if you're like, you know, Ryan Reynolds, you're going to be an actor when you're young, but then by the time you're 40, nobody gives a shit about you anymore, you know? So I think it's better to be an actor at 40. So Roman Reigns, if he's going to make a good faith effort at this, now's the time. But WWE is holding him back. How? Well, presumably, Roman Reigns is going to get a role here and there, a role or two here and there, right? So if that's the case, right, then Roman Reigns needs to be available for those roles. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hater. He is available. He shows up to wrestling once every 6 weeks. Yes, there is available, and then there's quasi-available, right? I would say he's quasi-available in the sense that he's there to take on some wrestling roles and to take on some movie roles. But fundamentally, I think the distinction is that he cannot be fully committed, right? It's hard to have an actor be, you know, separated in his role and be leaving every couple of weeks to do something else, right? Furthermore, it really hurts the brand, right? A lot of WWE guys that become actors, I think, leave WWE, not because they have to, but because it's like you can't be an actor and be a silly wrestler, right? For better or for worse, in my opinion, at this point, for better, wrestlers are not respected as entertainers. This has always been the case, right? Wrestlers have always been seen as the redheaded stepchild of the entertainment industry. So, like, when people convert from wrestler to actor, well, they really have to go balls deep, all in on being an actor, right? So with that being said, I mean, like, it is what it is, but Roman Reigns is still being held back, right? Now, again, I hope he's getting paid a lot of money so he doesn't have to go even be an actor, but the facts are what the facts are, right? How is anyone excited about Roman Reigns coming back to wrestling? I mean, I know this is a joke in this channel, you know, that some people, like Roman Reigns, all they do is come back, but at this point, it's a fact, right? The same way that Drew McIntyre shows up every couple of weeks, and Drew McIntyre's returns are always accompanied by Wade Barrett saying, Maggle, this is a new version. It's a new version of Drew McIntyre. We haven't seen this new version yet. We haven't seen this new version. The only virgin I see is Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The point is, same thing with Roman Reigns, right? They're like, he's back. It's like, so what? So what? Last time they beat his ass, right? They act like he came back and somehow now he has superpowers. Roman Reigns, this is very odd if you think about it. Roman Reigns does not get any of the benefits of people like Cucky and Cena, right? He doesn't get super Roman benefits, right? He comes back and pretty much his like historic 4-year or whatever the fuck it was title run is treated like a combination of a fluke and Heyman's doing, right? As well as the doing of the Usos and Solo Sikoa. Because Roman Reigns comes back and he feuds with the likes of Bronson Reed. Now you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but he wins the feud. So what? Bronson Reed is a jobber. Tomorrow, Bronson Reed could legit lose to a returning Otis and nobody would bat an eyelash. Nobody would be surprised at all. Braun Breaker can lose to fucking LA Knight on any given episode of Raw or to Jey Uso and nobody would bat an eyelash, right? These are not big deals. These are not stars. Roman Reigns is not being treated like a serious threat in wrestling. He is not being treated as any kind of wrestler that has any aspirations, let alone possibility. But I don't even think he has the aspirations to be, someone that might become champion one day. I don't even think he's on that level, But personally, I think that Roman Reigns does deserve better. Now, again, all of this is, the grand equalizer, the great equalizer, the ultimate equalizer, as it were, is money, right? So if he's getting paid enough and wasting away the prime years of his career, well then I guess it's worth it, right? Because he's getting paid for his prime. But the reality is, if he wants to be an actor, which I don't even know where that comes from, but it's like a thing people say. Oh, he's going into Hollywood. I don't even know if to be honest, I don't even know if Roman Reigns has said that ever, right? Or if it's just like the fantasy booking of fans. But the rumor has taken a life of its own. But basically, Roman Reigns presumably wants to be an actor. This is the time to do it. Now, I get it. You're not going to get the millions of dollars to be in a movie, with no acting experience, unless you're Conor McGregor, and he's not Conor McGregor. So with that being said, it's it all comes down to what's next for him. Because surely, even Roman Reigns, even with the money that he's supposedly making or presumably making, even with that money, it's you can't feel good as a human being when your job, your career as it were, is just you showing up every 3 to 4 weeks and beating up Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker with chairs. That's literally all he does. It's been 6-7 months since WrestleMania, right? It's been 6 months basically since WrestleMania, and pretty much all he's done, almost exclusively, is come out there and beat up Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and occasionally get his ass beat by the two of them and Seth Rollins, right? It's almost like he has no desire to even go after Seth Rollins at this point. He just wants to go after the Bronsons, the Brawns, whatever the fuck they're called. The Vision, So it's that can't make someone feel good about their career. And at that point, it is better to just retire, right? A lot of people are like, oh man, it sucked when The Rock left wrestling or when Stone Cold left wrestling. Yeah, it sucked because we all loved The Rock and Stone Cold, but don't get it twisted, motherfuckers. Don't you dare get it twisted. If the alternative was Stone Cold and The Rock come back every 4 weeks to feud with Al Snow or to feud with Bull Buchanan, then I'm glad they left, right? Because that's stupid. Who wants to see that? That's what's happening to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wants to do other things with his life, but maybe he can, maybe he can't. Stone Cold, as far as I know, when he retired, when he left wrestling, he just got some money here and there from his appearances with WWE, which keep going to this day, but I don't think Stone Cold, really did anything else, right? Oh, Broken Skull, IPA, nobody gives a fuck. I'm talking about he didn't really do anything. The Rock had an entire career in movies, and he's still on top of the world. But the point is, Roman Reigns, if he wants to be Stone Cold, that's fine. I think it's better to retire now, to just stop showing up. It would be even better, ideally, if he retired before Cena. How great would that be? It's John Cena just overstays his welcome, and Roman Reigns doesn't, right? Keep in mind, Undertaker retired only a few years ago, so think about how legendary that is compared to these other jobbers of the modern day. But anyways, the point is, Roman Reigns, quite frankly, he never carried this company on his back, and if you want to give it to him during these last 3-4 years of him being champion, quite frankly, I think other people carried the company during that time. I might even be more inclined to say that Cucky Rhodes did it. He was the real draw. Roman Reigns, nobody gives a shit about him anymore. Now he's just there to show up every 3 weeks with a new t-shirt, and that's it. And hey, I wish the man nothing but happiness. You know what I mean? The hater has no bad feelings towards anybody in this world, let alone someone that I've never met. But let's not get it twisted, motherfuckers. It's a complete waste of time. Just make somebody else into a hero. Roman Reigns coming back and pretty much paying it forward and being the de facto unsolicited lackey of Jey Uso is weird. This is Roman Reigns. He should come back as a full-blown face, and he should just start winning Royal Rumbles. If you're going to keep him around, at this point, fuck it. Like, you could convince him, pay him a little bit more, and he can have like 2 or 3 more matches a year. Because, you know, let's be real. People like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes wrestle like 5-6 times a year on TV. Oh, they wrestle the house shows. I don't care, right? So that's how it is. That's how it's going to be. So why don't they just do that? Why don't they just have this cuck come out, have some meaningless feuds with people like Gunther, and then find his way to the main event, either at WrestleMania or at the very least of like, you know, I mean, I want to say Survivor Series, but like that's going to be that bullshit main event. He's probably going to be in there anyways. Have your matches, but win the title or something, man, because otherwise it's just fucking weird. And if that's not the plan, which, hey, you know, I get it. You've had him as champion for 4 years. Nobody wants to see him as champion again. No problem. No problem, motherfucks. Have him be a jobber. I could give a shit. But you gotta keep it honest, though. If that's how it is, if that's how it's gonna be, well, then let the man go try out Hollywood. You know, maybe he will land that prestigious role as Jason Momoa's stunt ass. You know, I think that's best for everybody. I don't think WWE benefits from him coming back every 4 weeks. Sure, they sell some t-shirts and things like that, but I do feel like even the money they make from him, they're paying him back anyways. Because, you know, he's not taking a pay cut. He's getting millions a year. Especially if he says a new contract, he's gonna be getting millions a year. You know? And quite frankly, this is really weird because, like, it does feel like Roman Reigns is effectively retired. And that's odd, because he's not old enough to retire, in my opinion. And quite frankly, at this point, we've been kind of spoiled with John Cena, and I would like to see a Roman Reigns, like, retirement tour, just like Cena did it, right? And it's like, but for him, it'd be like, wrestle 3 times. Like, it would be like any other year. Cena has held it together. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but Cena's out there putting in work. He's basically full-time, you know? Okay, not full-time, but like, he's as full-time as it gets today. So Roman Reigns can do the same thing, you know, and maybe ride off into the sunset and ride off into Hollywood. Hopefully that works out for him the way it has worked out for people like Batista, The Rock, and Cena. But if not, then fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck it. Just retire. Better to retire than to debase yourself and come back and save Jimmy and Jey Uso. Like, who gives a shit, you know? So that being said, I think Roman Reigns is pretty much done. I'm pretty sure, like, he's effectively retired. And quite frankly, I wish him luck if he decides to pursue other career interests, including being the stunt ass of fucking Jason Momoa. And with that being said, take care of yourself, cucks, and go fuck your own asses.